Elden Ring has some of the greatest bosses From Software has ever created. Melania, Malekith, Godfrey, Radagon. These are the bosses that can absolutely destroy you, but when you finally beat them, there's this feeling of actually accomplishing something. You learn their attacks, you figured out their weaknesses, you probably died like 37 times, but eventually you got them. And then there are the bosses that make you wonder why you even bought the game. And that's what we're talking about today. The worst bosses in Elden. Let's start with Commander Neil. Now, Neil himself isn't actually that bad. The problem is that he doesn't exactly believe in fighting fair. Because the second you enter his arena, this man basically says, yeah, I'm gonna need some backup. And suddenly you're fighting Neil, or also fighting two knights. And these aren't exactly harmless little enemies. They're running around the arena attacking you, while Neil is throwing attacks at you from across the room. And that's the problem. The difficulty isn't really coming from learning Neil, it's coming from managing three enemies at once. And personally, I don't think that's the most interesting way to make a boss difficult. Still, at least Neil has the decency to look cool while he's ruining your evening. Next up, the Fire Giant. Now, the Fire Giant is one of those bosses where I genuinely love everything about him. Except fighting him. The design, awesome. The lore, interesting. The arena, massive. The soundtrack, fantastic. The actual fight, Mother in Christ, where am I supposed to look? This guy is enormous, and because he's enormous, you're often fighting him while staring directly at his ankles. He rolls across the arena. You chase him. He rolls again. You chase him again. And before you know it, you've spent more time running towards this guy than actually attacking him. And then there's the camera. The camera in Elden Ring can already be questionable when fighting large enemies, but with the Fire Giant, it sometimes feels like the camera has joined the boss fight. You're trying to dodge an attack, but you can't see the attack. You're trying to find the boss, but you've somehow ended up looking at the sky. And then suddenly, you're dead. And you're sitting there thinking, what even hit me? The Fire Giant isn't necessarily a bad boss, but compared to some of Elden Ring's other fights, it can feel more frustrating than satisfying. Now we're getting into the real nonsense. The ulcerated tree spirit. This boss is basically what happens when From Software asks, how can we make the player fight a boss while also making sure they can't see anything? Because this thing is huge. It's constantly moving, it's twisting around the arena, it's flying across the screen. It's attacking you from every possible direction, and half the time, you're not even sure what part of the boss you're looking at. You just locked onto it, hoping for the best. And then there's that attack. You know the one. The boss starts charging up, the screen fills with effects, and you're sitting there thinking, okay, something is about to happen. And then boom, you're dead. Now I'll admit, once you understand the boss, it becomes much easier. But that's exactly the problem. A good boss should make you feel like you're learning. With this thing, sometimes it feels like you're learning the boss while simultaneously trying to learn how the camera works. That's not exactly a winning combination. Now we're entering some dangerous territory, because I'm pretty sure the Godskin Duo has personally ruined friendships. The Godskin Apostle is already annoying. The Godskin Noble, yeah, he's annoying too. So naturally, From Software looked at them and thought, you know what would make this better? Put both of them in the same room. And honestly, why? The problem with Godskin Duo isn't simply that there are two bosses, it's the way they interact with the fight. You have the Apostle attacking you from one side, the Noble doing whatever the hell he wants from the other side, and you're trying to create some distance. Then Noble starts rolling. And suddenly this giant bowling ball is coming straight towards you. You dodge it. Great. Except now Apostle is behind you. You dodge him. Great. Except Noble is rolling again. And then you die. And you're just sitting there thinking, I didn't even get to play. The shared health bar makes things even stranger. You kill one of them and then they come back. So instead of feeling like you've defeated an enemy, You're basically fighting the same two guys over and over again. I'm not saying Godskin Duo isn't possible. There are plenty of strategies that make the fight easy, but that's not really my issue. My issue is that the fight often feels less like a test of skill, more like crowd control. And when you compare that to something like Malekith or Godfrey, there's just a lot less satisfaction. And finally, Elden Beast. Now this one is going to make some people angry, because technically, Elden Beast isn't some horribly designed boss. It looks incredible, the arena is beautiful, the music is amazing, and thematically it makes sense. But as the final boss of Elden Ring, I have a problem. Because you don't just fight Elden Beast. First we have to fight Radagon. And Radagon is fantastic. He's aggressive, his attacks are powerful, the music is incredible, the fight feels like a final battle. You beat him, you're thinking, yes, I did it. And then the Elden Beast appears. Okay, round 2. Except, the Elden Beast runs away. You get close, it swims away. You chase it, it teleports. You chase it again, it swims away. You can chase it again, it swims away. You chase it again. At some point, you're not even fighting the final boss anymore. You're doing cardio, Elden Ring, the marathon arc type stuff. And that's what bothers me. The Elden Beast has some really cool attacks, but the constant movement creates this weird situation where a huge part of the fight is just trying to get back to the boss. And after you've already fought Radagon, you're tired. You just want to finish the game. You don't want to spend another 5 minutes chasing a glowing space whale around in the arena. And that's why Elden Beast takes the #1 spot for me. Not because it's the hardest, not because it's ugly, and not because it's objectively bad, but because for a final boss, I want the fight to feel like a climax. I want the final to make me think this is it. Instead, sometimes I'm thinking, where did it go? Despite everything I've said in this video, I still love the game. Because Elden Ring has some of the best boss fights I've ever experienced. And it also has some fights that make me want to turn my console off and go outside. But that's part of the experience. Because everyone has that one boss. Maybe it's Millennia. Maybe it's Godskin Duo. Maybe it's the Fire Giant. Maybe it's some random boss in a cave that nobody else even remembers. Honestly, that's what makes talking about Elden Ring so much fun. You can all play the same game and somehow come away with completely different experiences. So those are my picks for the worst bosses in Elden Ring. But now I'm curious, what's the Elden Ring boss that you absolutely cannot stand? Because I'm pretty sure there's at least one boss out there that has personally ruined somebody's week. And if you've enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. We've got plenty of more gaming discussions coming. I'll see you in the next one.